So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the main plant medicines. And so I'm going to start with ayahuasca, which is a Quechua word, and it means vine of the dead or vine of the soul. These are some other names for ayahuasca: yahe, uni, capi, daime, huasca, or vegetal. And so these are different words that are used for it. Uni, for example, is the Shipibo word, and it means prepared wisdom or prepared knowledge. And ayahuasca is from the Amazon basin. And so some of the main countries that it's used in are Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia. And every tradition has their own versions of how they use it, and their processes of initiation and apprenticeship involved within that. It's hard to know again how long it's been used for, but recently there was a ceremonial bundle found in Bolivia that was dating back over 1,000 years. And within this bundle, it contained DMT. And so they have proof that it's been used for 1,000 years, but probably has been used longer than that. So it's often made of two plants. As you can see, the two plants in the picture of this pot here. And that's a pot that how they traditionally cook it. So they take the vine and also the leaf, which is chacruna, and they boil it together. They cook it over a fire, and it needs to be cooked for an extremely long period of time, generally about 12 hours. And in the indigenous context, the focus is actually more on the vine. It's the somatic component. It's more of the purgative. So ayahuasca is really famous for purging. And so some people will use just the vine within their medicine. But in the Western context, actually the focus is on the molecule DMT. And often, what I've heard from indigenous healers is that it's not really important, the visionary component or the psychoactive component. It's more about that overall physical healing is what they're usually hoping to support people with. And I think this idea of isolating the molecule versus looking at the whole system and the whole kind of medicine in its context can be symbolic in many ways. And I just wanted to also acknowledge that there's an increase in ayahuasca tourism and Westerners coming to these countries to consume these plants. And again, this is controversial. Some people say it's a really good thing. Some people say it's to serve the Western needs. And I think often it's probably a combination of both. So just to acknowledge that. So this is some of my teachers: Laura, Inez, and Lila. So Inez is in the middle. She's the matriarch of the family. And it's interesting because within this medical system, you have GPs, much like in a Western context, but they also will have a specialization. And so Inez, for example, is a gynecologist. And generally, they focus on, this family has a focus on women's health more generally. As it's been taught to me, ayahuasca is not the most important part of this tradition. For them, it's really about the songs that they sing that they learn through their process of study, which is called tietas. And that ayahuasca is part of like a giant plant pharmacy, and it's just two plants out of many that they use, and really that it is a tool. And traditionally, healers would drink, but the patients would not. And the healers would use ayahuasca, or in this example, it's uni, to go into the spirit world and to determine what they need to do in order to help a person heal. So it was really kind of used as a diagnostic tool for them.